But yeah, to my knowledge, no one's built a competitor. I toyed with the idea for the briefest of seconds. But that would mean talking to streamers, and they are just the fucking worst. My friends are good. I keep company with good streamers. But Reenie worked with Pretzel for a while. Reenie will back me up on this. The worst streamers on the planet. My people are good because I won't put up with the bullshit that I saw. So like I would say I've got a dozen streamers that I would vouch for that they're good people. That they want people to get paid what they are owed. They aren't cheapskates. They aren't full-blown narcissists with delusions of grandeur. They're grounded, emotionally grounded people. That's like 12. There's 9 million, well, I don't know how many now, but at its peak, there were 9 million people who would stream every month. And so when I did Pretzel, and when I did 99 Lives, the number of times that I either got yelled at because I said what was on my heart, or I got yelled at and buried it. I either got yelled at by Nate for saying what I was thinking, or I got yelled at by the people lodging complaints, was way too high. So like the complaints that I would swallow and just try to do my best was, like, I got a DMCA strike on my channel. Your thing's a fraud and you guys are all scammers. If you have received, I still see these today and I get hot under the collar about it. Like on Reddit forums. My friend got 3 DMCA strikes using Pretzel. Don't touch it, it's toxic. And I have to fight the urge, because I don't own Pretzel anymore, to go into these Reddit threads and go, if your friend got a DMCA strike, it will be the first DMCA strike in the history of Pretzel. It has never happened in 6 years. You may have gotten muted, but that's because Twitch has only recently, in 2023, started to allow Nate to get his hands into what's going on with their content ID system. And on the days where I was the most patient, I would try to communicate that, and I would still usually get back like, whatever, this is like some sort of Ponzi scheme or something. You guys aren't real. I'm going back to Harris Heller. And it's like, Harris Heller's entire catalog is in Pretzel. What the fuck are you talking about? Streamers are fucking tight asses. I am the biggest social media commentator in Colorado Springs. For me, it's not the same day, but when I was getting my VTuber stuff done, I was like, yeah, X amount is fine. Can we do a payment plan? And they were always chill. If I could, I'd do the full payment in one sitting. Yep. I mean, I don't know. I came at it from a different angle where I knew I wanted some of the best assets in the game. I knew I wanted to have some of the best assets in the game, and I knew that to have that, I was gonna have to get somebody to bite on I was gonna need somebody like Trey, who was clearly out of my league, to come down and I was gonna need somebody who was clearly out of my league to come down and bless me, you know? And I knew the only way I was going to be able to do that was I was either going to know somebody. I was either going to know somebody, or I was going to pay through the nose. So I paid through the nose. And now I know people. And I don't pay through the nose anymore. But still, I still think that what Josh does, what Trey does, what Rory did is more than a channel this size is more than a channel this size should expect. You know what I mean? Like, the things that I'm using are nicer than I should expect to have. So I still try to play the game of like, I want to make sure that if I want to keep my independent contractors, I have to make sure that they're happy. I'm a fashion icon in Lansing, Iowa. Streamers almost have to have an ego. I agree. Fake Saint, to a certain extent, I absolutely agree. I think that there's a prerequisite for being a streamer that's kind of like what I see in CEOs. CEOs are confident to the point of it being delusional. There is a certain level of narcissism that I've seen in successful and failed CEOs that, like, it's almost that like Donald Trump-ish air of like, I know everyone's problems and I'm the only one who has the answers. And they have to believe that, or at least they have to believe that well enough to convince other people that that's true. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they figure it out on the fly, and sometimes they absolutely shit the bed. But almost every CEO I've met, from small companies to like really big companies, are fucking deluded to the point of it being funny, and then the more you think about it, becoming kind of sad. Streamers are kind of the same way. A little bit. It's a different brand, but I have said on any number of occasions that it does take a certain level of narcissism to not only believe that hundreds, if not thousands, of strangers should watch you play video games, but not only that, they should pay for the privilege to do so. Shit. Oh, shit. No, I thought I got away from it. I didn't get my 30, did I? I don't think I did. Ugh. So yeah, I don't always know exactly why what I do works. But I do know it takes a special sort of attention whore to do it. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, I'm only doing this because I just like the idea of hanging out with friends while I play video games. If you're a hobbyist, and you're just kind of doing it for the funsies, then that's very different than being somebody who wants to make it their full-time gig. Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. I have Kevin Brighting. Oh no, he didn't, is he turning down work or did he pass? I hope he didn't pass. And then he's just turning down work. It looks like he's still alive, thank God. Have you looked into getting your username in live space? I don't even know what that is. I just like the cut of your jib. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. You can be kind of vain and have overwhelming belief and confidence in yourself to the point of being just the teensiest bit narcissistic. And also be likable.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
You know what I mean? Like, it's possible to be the kind of person who's like, hey, watch me play video games. Okay, watch me play video games and give me some money. And we can just do this all the time. It'll be my job. Oh, weird, but yeah, no, okay, I can get down with that. I promise not to be an asshole about it. It'll just help me keep the lights on. That's the same, you know, that's the same thing. It's possible to be likable and do this. But it does take kind of you gotta be a little bit of a narcissist. It does take a little bit of like cheek to do what we do. K-Stroop tier 1, 44 months. K-Stroop, thank you so much. Yeah, you can be fatally, malignantly, pathologically narcissistic and still be liked by people. Yeah. I always try to make sure that I keep it grounded. To remind myself that, like, you know, I'm here helping you in the extent that I'm creating an online space where we can all hang out and have a consistent group of friends that have shared interests and beliefs and enjoy each other's company, and that there's always an MC and a ringleader to, you know, as I like to say, put on the coffee and throw out the folding chairs every morning. But at the same time, I try to ground it and just reminding myself constantly that without the audience, I fucking am just another Olive Garden manager. You know, and that is as high as we soar some days, with all the Mr. 819 talk and you know, the trips to Italy and the pergolas and all that kind of stuff. As ego strokey as that stuff can be, and it feels fucking great. I gotta tell you, when it pops off and it's true and it's not just me, you know, grasping at straws to flex on some rando who comes in here and talks shit and gets banned. When it's really true, like the 819 thing, when that happens, it feels fucking amazing and validating, and it is a drug that I would mainline into myself every single day if I could. But generally speaking, to try to keep myself from becoming the kind of streamer that you would hit with rocks until they stop moving, you know, I try to keep a servant's heart and remind myself that I'm as much as I want to believe you're all here because you adore me, I have viewers, not fans, so I really do feel like I kind of work for you, and that keeps it in a place where my fucking head never floats off into the atmosphere. So, anywho. It's a lot of damage. I had a fantastic morning. I've been up since 3:45 taking care of my son. Then about 9:30 when my wife was changing him, he pissed all over himself in the middle of cleaning all that up. My cat jumped up on the kitchen island and projectile vomited her breakfast all over. Nope. I'm sorry that happened to you, but if the fates decided that had to happen to someone today, I'm glad it was you. I would that would be that would be my villain origin story if that happened to me today. That's fucking terrible. Banner morning in the Frimry household. That's more than I can handle right now. Damn, I can't believe I didn't get the 30. Just gonna kind of go with the familiar for now. Y'all are really selling breeding. I remember one time I heard Amber, when she was changing Grayson's diaper, yelp. I was ran in trying to make sure that she was okay. And I walked in and Grayson was on a wall. Grayson was on a changing station on a wall probably 6 or 7 feet from the door. And he had shit so hard while she was trying to clean him up that it hit a light switch like 9 feet away from where the changing station was. The only way I could describe it is to say that it looked like somebody had stomped a shit ketchup package. It looked like if you took a ketchup packet from like a McDonald's and went to the parking lot and then set it on the ground on the asphalt and then just stomped the ketchup packet. It was like blood spatter. Like it not only hit the wall 8 or 9 feet away from the changing station, but it hit the wall with like velocity. I remember one day being so tired, but I didn't want Amber to have to do all of it by herself. So at least to show moral support, I went in and I laid down on the ground next to the changing table while she was changing his diaper. And the next thing I knew is as I was laying on the ground, I was looking up at the ceiling. And in the time it had taken her to pull off the diaper and put a washcloth over his weenus, I look up and see an arc of piss go up towards the ceiling above my head and then fall straight down at me. And like Indiana Jones rolled out of the way as I got a spike of adrenaline. I rolled out of the way and the piss hit the spot where my neck had been on the floor. Parenting is a lot. Parenting is a lot. They call him the Piss Dodger. I crack a lot of jokes at Grayson's expense. But this is not because of Grayson. It could have been any child, but I genuinely was concerned when I had my first kid that I had made a huge mistake. But it had everything to do with the fact that I was worried that I was not paternal enough. I was worried that I didn't have those instincts in me. Because I was desperately trying to be like a good dad, and to feel all those warm and fuzzy and protective and chest swelling. This is fulfilling and makes me feel prideful and all that jazz. And I wasn't feeling any of it. I was just like, dude, I already don't like chores, and now the chores are so much worse. Now the chores are like human feces and vomit. And this thing, all it ever does is eat and look terrified. It doesn't look like it loves me. Oh, god damn it. I rolled too far. I feel like poison damage shouldn't count towards your streak. You know what sucks, Quiet Storm, is that when I made the title in my head, I was just kind of like, this is like just general gremlin behavior. This is nothing. I was like, this is just like, this isn't gonna really fuck anyone's day up. And now I'm realizing that the people I'm hurting are the ones that matter most to me. I'm causing genuine damage to the people I truly care about in this channel. This is not a victimless crime. These are real people that I'm hurting with this title. I'm hurting the ones I love the most, and I have regret, but I'm kind of committed to the bit now. And the only thing is like, you know, I'm committed to sharing my experiences. And this morning I woke up and realized it took me 15 minutes to figure out what day of the week it was. First, I thought it was Wednesday. No, sorry. First, I thought it was Friday. Then I thought it was Wednesday. Then I went, no. I had a conversation with chat for like 15 minutes about it being Wednesday on Wednesday. Then I convinced myself it was Thursday again. So I felt like it was only fair that I bring that same level of panic-drenched anxiety to everyone else. I haven't watched Frasier since it first came out. I remember liking what I saw, but like I had to be in a mood for it, you know? All it ever does is eat, look terrified, and it doesn't look like it loves me. Sounds like one of my partner's cats that's not a fan of me. Yep, that's how I felt with Grayson for the first like 3 years, and again now. He doesn't look scared. He looks disinterested, and like he doesn't love me. Told you last night Twitch is jokerifying streams. Are people having connectivity issues again? Mobile was apparently at the Lucid Fox household a total shit show yesterday. Wow, that was a good one. Oh, look at that. A kebab. I see the general malaise of the Wednesday hump has devolved into chaos on Friday. Fridays are, you know, lo-fi, just chilling. But it's apparently the day where I don't mind if I low-key irritate people. Apparently Friday is the day where I'm low-key willing to make enemies out of some of you. Oh, Jesus, he almost got me. Just try my best to keep things frozen that I think are gonna bum rush me. My man YOLO'd me. Oh my god! None of my bolts were hitting that man. What a bummer. I thought for sure with that many bolts firing, one of those would hit him and freeze him and reset his attack animation. It did not. Will I ever see a 60 streak again? The world may never know. Hello, nurse. What's going on, Sarah? How the hell are you? Looking for an item in our extensive inventory, and the number I was given is 5 digits. All the inventory numbers I'm seeing are 4 digits. Then I suddenly realized the list isn't just a couple pages long. It goes on and on and on into 6 digits, and I had a moment of wide-eyed, like, oh no, why is there so much? Frasier's not as problematic as you think it would be because the characters as stuffy academic intellectuals actually have some compassion for the oppressed. Oh no, just you and Justin pulling little gremlin strats gonna burn stuff down while laughing. I don't know, like my thing was like, I'm gonna make people worry that it's actually Thursday. Justin legitimately will show me like stuff on like Adult Swim or the internet where he's just like, hey, check this out. I want to try to do something like this. And I'm like, oh, damn, this skit looks like the person has like contempt for their audience. Like, this is the kind of stunt you try to do if you want to lose viewers. And he's like, I know, it's perfect, right? Like, it's so beautiful. And I was like, why do you want to do this again? He's like, I think the idea of alienating my audience by doing horrible things and expecting them to find them funny when I know they're not is very funny to me. And I'm like, oh boy, that sounds like the kind of thing you do when you don't have three other people depending on you. How were the burgers yesterday? They were good. My lone gripe with Cobra Burger yesterday was that I feel like I could have eaten like 4 of them. They smash their patties so thin that the entire burger becomes Maillard reaction, Maillard effect. It becomes like a burger chip, which is delicious, but it's so thin that by the time I was done eating it, I was like, damn, I could do like 3 more of those. I came home and had a little bit of the dinner leftovers that Amber had cooked for the boys. It was delicious. I just feel like I could have eaten 4 of them. The problem is that like I did a 2-stack, which was like $14, but a 3-stack I think would have made it this like it would have been all smash burgers, but it would have been the thickness of a regular burger patty. If I'd done the 3-stack, it would have been like 21. And I was like, man, I like y'all's burgers, but I don't know that I like y'all's burgers $21 much. Chaos on a 12-month gifty from JJ going into month number 6. Welcome back, Chaos. No, today is Friday. Today is Friday. I was just being a shithead. Just woke up, about to start unpacking, called off work today. How are you? Still in a little bit of a sleep deficit, but way less fuzzy than I was yesterday. Oh shit! Man alive, there are men alive down here. My voice doesn't hurt today. I'm still pretty fuzzy. I sense a nap coming on, but otherwise, compared to yesterday, I was in such poor shape Fuck. I was in such poor shape yesterday that by comparison today, I'm just like normal Friday tired. But that feels like that feels amazing compared to what yesterday was. Yesterday was genuinely like, if I could have financially afforded it, I probably would have taken the day off. Today I feel kind of like normal Friday crummy, but like that's light years better than I was yesterday. We all know this is pre-recorded. Take a nap on stream. Aw, Ralliker. I do not feel like an attractive person right now, but thank you. I feel like I make a hella good burger on the grill to the point that I put it up against some of the pretty nice burger joints. 8 and away is $21 worth. Yeah, that's my lone issue, is that the prices are a little bit high. I was really hungry yesterday, and I got the smash burgers, which taste amazing because they are basically, the patty is all smash. There's almost no like burgers. It is like a burger chip, and it's delicious. But I feel like if I had really put my mind to it yesterday, I feel like I could have eaten $60 in hamburgers and not felt like over the top full. And that's, you know, the teensiest bit problematic. Honestly, I think we should have done a second order of the salt and vinegar fries. I think that would have taken me over the top. But I, you know, by the time we were done, I was just kind of like, well, maybe if I just let it settle. I have a tendency to tell myself I'm still hungry, and it's just that I eat so fast. I eat so fast that I don't give it time to settle. And then I eat more, and now, you know, then I suddenly become like, oh shit, I'm super full. When did super full happen? It was like, oh well, ate so many things in such rapid fire succession that you didn't give your body time to say like, hey bud, you should slow your roll. We're getting there. I kind of feel like maybe if I had pressed to try to get a second thing of fries, that would have put me right where I needed to be. But yeah, I didn't want to eat a whole bunch of food and then realize all I needed was time to process it. But I got home and I was like, damn, no, I'm still hungry. But the salt and vinegar fries are fucking amazing. They're so good. I wish more places did salt and vinegar fries. I tried to make a smash burger at home once and it didn't go very well. Did it stick to the surface or did you just burn it? What happened? When you come to the Detroit Metro, I'll make you a burger for free. I will happily consume an inappropriate number of hamburgers if you're feeding me when I come to Detroit. Yeah, salt and vinegar fries. I feel like every restaurant should offer salt and vinegar fries as an option. It's fucking delightful. My man's just not interested. Wanted a second drink, but I didn't want to make Lucid Wrangle drunk or Blady. You know, that was like, we were having such a I was hungry at the end, but it felt like more of a social occasion. You know, like there are times where like Lucid or me or Justin or whoever go out and, or kind of Noah, we're getting to a place with Noah where Noah's food opinion matters. We're getting there. His arepa place is fucking dynamite. He did a good job there. So we're having to start taking Noah's food opinion seriously. And on some of those occasions, I'll absolutely eat until I'm sick. Because food is the purpose for the get together. But last night definitely felt like more of a social occasion. Oh, not a lot of space beneath that. That sucked. So yeah, I was content not to do like the second drink. I was content not to do not to be like, let's get another order of fries. I was, we had a good night and that felt like it was the point to me, so. Some of those, I almost feel like you have to not only maybe not necessarily have armadillo pack, but some of those I almost feel like you have to have some sort of solution in place because they time up in such a way that it feels like it's almost impossible to get past them. Stuck to the surface and kind of fell apart. Yeah. I've definitely had problems with sticking both with the thing that's flattening out the burger, which you have to oil up your spatula or whatever. I've had both issues with the thing that, with it sticking to the thing that flattens out the burger, or also not getting the surface hot enough or greased enough that it sticks to the surface of the flat top for sure. Yeah, Noah had a pretty deep pit to climb out of because he was Justin likes Galaxy, but I mean, Justin doesn't always like himself, and he's one of my favorite dudes in Richmond, so I don't know how well I can trust. He doesn't, he may not have good taste, Yeah, parchment paper. I started doing that too, for sure. But Justin is the only person that I've ever met that Noah took to the Galaxy Diner that was like thrilled that it happened. Everyone else basically just came back to my house and fucked up my guest toilet. I felt so bad the week that we brought all the pretzel people here to celebrate and do a food tour of Richmond. We went and did the Galaxy Diner. And I mean, genuinely, minutes after we got back to my house, there was a queue. There was a queue formed for my guest bathroom. That room's like felt haunted ever since. Like it saw atrocities. Legends have it that bathroom's still off limits today. Timon, what's going on, homeboy? Just a reminder that you are all loved and worthy of love. That was really one of the only times that I've ever seen Noah, like, down. I think he hoped that we would get there and people would just be like, I don't know what Taffy's talking about. This place has got character. This place has got charm. I love all the things that are prefaced by being called nuclear, which means that they've got canned cheese and jalapenos on it. This is my new favorite place too, Noah, and screw Ryan. But that is, I don't think that's how that, it didn't go that way. And I feel bad because for like a month afterwards, he was just kind of like, I know it's not great, but I just wanted my friends to see a place that mattered to me. And I was like, all right, bud, that's how you gotta frame that then. You can't tell us it deserves Michelin stars. You gotta say that it's mediocre food, but that you really wanted your friends see, we'll show up for that. We'll show up for, I just want my friends to enjoy a place that I enjoy. But then eventually over time, it went back to like, this place deserves to be a national landmark. Until they fired one of the crackheads that was his friend. And then at that point, he was just like, this place is dead to me. The food was always bad. But now his new place is an arepa place, and it's one of the best restaurants in Richmond. Like, no bullshit. So, he's making great strides towards redemption. I don't know, man. Frostbite. We'll commit to the ice. We'll commit to the ice build here. Yeah, I don't like potpourri and I don't like air fresheners. I can tolerate. You know what? I can tolerate potpourri, but I do have a problem with the fact that like most air fresheners just make it smell like somebody's shit at a Fruit Loops factory. It certainly doesn't make me feel better. Shitrus. I'm never gonna not call it shitrus now. I'm gonna leave the Mr. Freeze style ice puns to you, chat. I have to be careful. I need to get 7 more kills before I get hit or I'll die. Shitrus. Never have I... That's... I thought I was clever for saying somebody took a dump in the middle of a Fruit Loops factory, but shitrus is so much faster. The same thought and so much faster. Fuck that guy, he'll kill me. Or he might kill me. No, I have to deal with that guy? Alright, well. Oh. Maybe we don't have to deal with that guy just yet. Uno mas. Anyone else terrified of that elite up there? Or is that just me? I don't want to go do that. Are you fucking kidding with me, guy? This thing, in the right circumstances, like being pinned in a corner against an enemy that terrifies the shit out of you, this thing, not bad. Pretty handy if I do say so myself. You just have to be ridiculously close to it. Not bad, though. You did it, Relicer. I, for one, approve. Oh, I fucked that up. Ah, fuck me. I'm coming for you, bud. There we go. I wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud. I'm feeling pretty blessed. I'm feeling pretty blessed about having chosen this ice build for this particular floor. Sounds like cicadas. Toto! What's going on, homeboy? These enemies need to chill. Just chilling while the clock ticks away the last of my summer breaks. Hey, yo, K-Stroop. I didn't even have it open today. Yeah, we were talking stonks because old K-Stroop hit me with $40 towards Fossil Group Incorporated. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you. What a day. I had to remind myself which place. I had to remind myself which place had the food on the ground. It's this place. This place had food on the ground. I just have to remind myself to either go back and use it if I get hit, or to sell it so that I at least leave here with the money. Yeah, as I say, and you know, if you're someone like me who's too dumb to do things like short stocks or stuff like that, bull market good. No, yeah, bull market good, bear market bad. Bull is rampage, bear is hibernation. I think. Admittedly, none of my advice is financial advice because I'm a big dumb idiot who doesn't know shit. That's correct? Okay. It's like, to my knowledge, that's how it works. I saw something the other day where some dude was fucking around in Robin Hood, not really knowing what he was doing. And to his knowledge, he was fiddling around with things that were like low or almost no cost type stuff to engage in. And then woke up with an $83,000 deficit on his account. Feeling like it's kind of horseshit that I've killed every enemy on this floor. It's feeling kind of horseshit that I've killed every enemy on this floor, and I still don't think I'm gonna be able to sniff 60 kills. Lucid was eavesdropping on a couple of financial bros bragging about the rate of return on penny stocks that was lower than the interest in my savings account. Finance people don't always know stuff either. Honestly, it's super fun to watch The Big Short. I killed every enemy in this floor without getting hit, and there were only 48 enemies. So I'm gonna guess that we're not hitting 60 on this one. Yeah, all he had to do was kind of go watch The Big Short and realize that even though it's Hollywood depiction, like, it usually means that the people that are being depicted are probably dumber than what I'm seeing. And the people in The Big Short were pretty dumb. Could the cell doors give you more enemies? They could. Did I miss one? I don't see any others. I just saw that one. I genuinely just don't think there's 60 enemies in here. Short stocks is a dangerous game. It's essentially a loan and you can actually go into debt. Yeah, it's like, the way I've understood it, short stocks is like the upside is infinite, but the downside is also infinite. So basically you could just kind of lose money almost indefinitely if it goes the opposite of the way that you want it to. Only naked shorting, you can short stocks if you own 100 shares. I'm starting to get hungry. Nope. Hey, if I'm naked, it's not shorting. If I'm naked and you can see me naked, it's absolutely shorting. It may short inside me. I've made 20 bucks so far off emotional hedge betting. Taffy, this is my new retirement plan. I told that to my financial planner. I told that to Galen Sycon. We got into a call and Galen goes like, hey man, I know you're kind of panicky about like money and everything, but don't worry. Like if it were to all what am I doing? It's like if this were to all go away tomorrow, you and Amber would have enough money to live for like a year, maybe two, if you live frugally, without doing any work while you figured it out. So like, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. I've figured out a way to beat sports betting. And he goes, I take it back. You have enough money to live for 1 month. Don't worry, Galen. I'm putting money into the only thing I can think of that's better than a high yield savings account and more dependable, and that's the Cowboys breaking my heart. He was like, don't worry, man. You got enough money to live for a year and a half without doing anything if you have to stop and figure things out. And I was like, I've figured out how to beat sports betting. And he was just like, you have about 6 weeks worth of money to live. It was a very clever response. I was actually a little bit upset. I'm usually the clever response guy. I don't get mad when other people do it, but I get mad when I didn't even think of it. And that was one of those responses where I was like, fuck, I didn't think of that. I don't think I could have thought of that. That was really good. Very dry, did not miss a beat. The timing on that is the most important part. Very dry, didn't miss a beat. All he did was hear what I said and then adjust the timeline immediately. I hate doors. Oh. No, I tried to dodge roll it. I guess I was in the process of firing or whatever. I hate these things, man. These things are a pain in the ass. I should have just waited and then thrown a grenade in or something. I do like the Hayabusa boots. Yeah, Galen's actually a pretty funny guy for being somebody who, you know, I would be worried if my money guys were too charismatic. If my money guys were too charismatic, I would worry that I was being played. I kind of want my money guys to be very dry and straightforward and literal. But Galen is peppered with just the right amount of humor that I also don't feel like I'm dealing with a robot. That if I come at him with a very human request, that he'll understand it and work with me on it, if not capitulate to it. Alyssa, welcome back, friend. Every time you talk about your church job, it reminds me of being with my aunts and uncles when I was a kid. Cat, the game's trying to give me a blood sword, and I swear to God, the first time it offers me it and I'm doing an actual brutality build, I'll be on board. Yeah, it reminds me of growing up with my aunts and uncles. My uncle's a pastor at Macedonia Baptist Church in Mesquite. I don't know if he still is. He used to be. He may have retired. But when he was in his 40s and 50s, I'd go down there and hang out, and anytime I was over at the place, there were times where his kids would have to go over to the church, midday, middle of the night, whatever, and knock out whatever errands or chores had to be done. So yeah, it's been a pretty intense part of my childhood is being at that particular church. Several different churches in my life. While they're closed and after hours. I had family and friends that did a lot with the church that I grew up around in Idaho when I was a kid. Like my mom did. I think my mom did Sunday school teaching. She did that after I left, but yeah, that church used to have stuff that it wanted me to engage in. I don't know. Weird core memory that I hadn't thought about was just I've spent a lot of time in closed churches. And every time you mention doing work at the church, I'm like, I know what it means to have to go work at the church. Flashbang out. I'm just a custodian. I mean, that was the same kind of shit that we were doing too. I mean, I know that you're just there because custodian. But yeah, for me, whether like it or lump it, it unlocks core memories. Like it or lump it, for me, it unlocks core memories of a lot of the stuff I was doing was custodial work and shit like that. That's how they would keep the, thank God, at the very least, I may not be a religious person anymore, but at the very least I can look back on my family being in the leadership position at this particular church I knew they weren't gouging their parishioners because, like, to keep costs down, they would go over and do custodial things and vacuum and Windex stuff, and that kept them from having to hire a cleaning crew, which meant that they had to, like, it runs in the family. They could have taken tithe money and turned it into private jets and mega screens and live bands and fucking all that stuff, Rolex watches. But instead, they tried to keep costs at a bare minimum and focus on making sure that their audience had what they wanted. And that sometimes meant, you know, me and like Aunt Tony or me and Uncle John or Uncle John's kids going over there late at night or in the afternoon in the middle of the week and running vacuums and wiping stuff down and, you know, taking out trash and restocking paper goods and stuff like that. I can at least, like I said, I'm not a religious person anymore, but I can at the very least look back with pride on how they conducted themselves in a place where I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying almost all of us have experiences with people behaving in a very shady and fucking intentionally obfuscated ways. I mean, for crying out loud, the next church I went to, that was the one in Idaho that had none of my family members in it. We had a lady who ended up begging us not to put her in jail because she was embezzling tens of thousands of dollars as the church bookkeeper. She's like, she was like having an affair with one of the other married dudes at the church, and also had embezzled like $65,000 in tithes that she was trying to cover up in the books. Yo, Shifty, what's going on, man? I was in an Eagle Scout group doing amateur radio stuff, and we met in a church next to a big graveyard at night. Sorry, I'm just catching up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Lisa. Is like, I'm, you know, again, not a religious guy anymore, but at the very least, if they're gonna exist, I like them to be communally focused and not like, we need another private jet. I was picking very difficult words, Sarah. I'm very proud. Find another Twitch broadcaster who uses the words obfuscated. He uses the word obfuscated intentionally and doesn't read it from a script on stream today. Are you telling me that mega churches don't care about people? Our church is dying. We're selling our 9 acres of property. We're selling to the YMCA so there can be a public pool. Good all around. Our best priest at my church growing up ended up bedding down with a parishioner, and now he's a different kind of father. So yeah, that ultimately is one of the few takeaways I have from my time there that's like really, really pleasant, is just that I was proud of how they conducted themselves. Because that is a real murky place where people who pretend to be good and wholesome people do really fucking shady things and do it under the guise of being fucking righteous, you know? But I've always been able to look at my family, who are all very religious Baptist people, and say that they've carried themselves with dignity. And that's some small comfort, you know? Oh, you talking about old Joel Osteen? I got a cousin who I love, but I don't know that I'd trust him to manage a 7-Eleven, but I love him. Part of the reason I wouldn't trust him to manage a 7-Eleven is because he's one of those people who's just like, I think Joel Osteen is the greatest. And I was like, I think Joel Osteen would save his spit if you were on fire. Generally, the most righteous people are the ones with the biggest skeletons in their closet. I hope that guy gets stung by a bee on the Dick Monthly. I hope he steps on a Lego barefoot daily. Yeah, those people, like, I don't know. Those people make me legitimately, like, rage-filled. They're predators, and they're predators and they're bullies. And I abhor both of those things. Those things. When I see people who behave in a predatory fashion, and when I see people who basically low-key intellectually bully people out of their money by insinuating that, you know, well, if you don't give money to my super church, then you don't like Jesus, and how are you gonna get into heaven if you've told Jesus you hate him? When I see people pulling stunts like that, it makes me like, it makes me want to engage in vigilante justice. It makes me want to be like evil Batman. Like I want to break into their place in the middle of the night and be like fucking V for Vendetta. Like I almost have to take away some of my sympathy for the people who are being scammed, because at least some of them, I don't know, man. I have to imagine that at least some of them have a hard time accounting for their whereabouts on January 6th. And that's like the cold comfort that I take out of it. Is that at least some of those people that are getting scammed are like giving that money to fucking Joel Osteen and not giving that money to like some group that's trying to make sure that Roe v. Wade never gets reinstated, or like you know, some group that's trying to make sure that like gay and trans people have no rights.
Of the newest denizen of the cave.
Because otherwise, if I just think of them as like people and potentially even good people who are getting ripped off by the, you know, these people who are claiming to be modern day saints or whatever, there's a violence that brews inside me. Hey Pew, what's going on? Every time I see your name, all I can think of is how badly I need to crack that can of cheese. I'm doing it this weekend. No more looking for an excuse or a reason. I'm eating cheese this weekend, chat. Guest bathroom, I hope you've had time to recover, because I'm eating cheese this weekend. I'm getting cheesed up. I put it off for too long. Lucid was talking about Righteous Gemstones and saying it was pretty good. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes away from being done with Succession, at which point I could probably pivot to the Righteous Gemstones. So Sarah says, I think a lot of Joel's followers would agree with his choice to turn people away from his safe shelter during a hurricane, and I have to believe that some of the people that he's taken for a ride are just as bit as duplicitous and horrible as he is. It's the only way I can make it work in my head that I don't go like full-blown vigilante. High class trailer trash, tier 1, 29 months. Giving money, you say? The good news is that if you give me money, I make absolutely zero hollow claims about how that money is going to be spent. I'm going to take it. I'm going to use it. Sometimes when I can, I'll try to find fun ways to make you feel like good about giving it to me, like plushies and events. But otherwise, I'm going to take your money. And if I feel like noodles, I'm going to go to a Chinese joint and I'm going to use your money to buy me noodles. Thank you for your consideration. But Taffy, what about my personal journey with God? I don't know. That's between you and him or her or them. Unless they're the god of Chinese noodles, I don't know that bitch. After it was found out that the head pastor of the church I was kicked out of was stupping other men's wives in his office, the church started to die. When the church started to die, his son decided to try to get the insurance money by drunkenly slamming their boat into a bridge. Yeah, I've seen way too many people who have positions of power in a church who basically become like, they basically become the same kind of shitty people that we don't like in streamers, you know? Like when the financial leaks happened, and all of a sudden you had a bunch of streamers who had convinced you that they were living paycheck to paycheck, and then you found out that you found out that they were making like $500,000 or $750,000 a year, and they were like, well, it looks bad, but hear me out. I've got a high quality of living standard that just must be met, or else what's the point? Full-blown vigilante, the FBI has entered the chat. I'd like to get to know this god of Chinese noodles. Speaking of Chinese, when we moved, we had a whole bottle of soy sauce dump in the cooler we had used to transport perishables, and now my fridge and freezer smell like soy, and it keeps making us crave Chinese food. You know what you should do, Sarah? You should go and buy like a Costco tub of, like a Costco-sized box of egg rolls, and then just spend an afternoon frying in like a Dutch oven all of those egg rolls. And just keep them in a Rubbermaid container inside the fridge. And then every time you open the fridge, you curb that Chinese craving so that you can go have Italian, so that you can go have Thai or Indian or sandwiches or whatever. But you go like, oh God, the whole thing smells like soy sauce. You crack the tub, you take a cold egg roll and a little packet of hot mustard, and you go, truck it, and there, craving satisfied, and now you're freed up to go have like soul food for dinner instead. I have no idea if the Costco egg rolls are good. If I was gonna go get egg rolls, I'd probably go to the international market because they'll sell them in big fuck off containers. I'm not playing, you know, I'm not saying Kirkland Signature can't make an egg roll. They might. I've never tried it. It's just the only place I could think of that would sell you as many egg rolls as you would need for this plan to work. Quiet Storm, thank you for the 500 bits. Zhao Jun, as far as I remember, is the god of Chinese noodles. I would like to set up a meeting with Zhao. I missed like 2 days and you're full on yeehaw in this game now. That's my scarecrow umbrella. See, here's my plan, Alpha. See, what you do is you fry up a box of Costco egg rolls and then you eat them. I'm the Danny Ocean of culinary adventure. 2539, woo! What's going on, homie? Happy to see you as always. Big Gun, welcome back as well, brother. Oh, let's talk about egg rolls. Make me hungry. I could go for an egg roll. Don't forget. I will absolutely forget. This is why we keep a legal pad next to the desk. And so I can write these things down as they become apparent to me again. Because I will 150% forget. Are we almost at lunch o'clock? I mean, it is 11. That's generally the point in time where I give myself permission to start thinking about eating. I don't think I was actually hungry, Glitch, until I said the word egg rolls, and then I kind of played myself. You got sticky notes and stuff. A lot of people I interact with seem to just have sticky notes plastered on No, honestly, the weird levels of my potential OCD or personal OCD is that, like, if I plastered Post-it notes everywhere, the moment that I pulled one off and saw like a sticky residue on my monitor, I wouldn't be able to rest until the residue was gone. So every Post-it note would be 2 Post-it notes. It would be inquire about getting your controller fixed on top of a second Post-it note, and the second Post-it note would say, clean this gummy residue off your monitor. Panda does have egg rolls. Listen, let's go in here so that we're not sitting. Let's second guess ordering lunch to the beat of drums. This is more luncheon food anyway, or luncheon music anyway. I gotta say, we did Panda for my last egg roll craving, and I was underwhelmed. Y'all know that I'm Panda's ride or die. I'm a Panda Express ride or die. I love Panda. Their egg rolls and their fried rice leave a lot to be desired. Otherwise, I can't think of anything else negative to say about them. But I feel like my opinion of them is invalidated if I just lie and say like everything's amazing and I love it all. I don't like their fried rice. It's bland. And I think their egg rolls are a little bland too. The crunch is good, the texture's good. It's just missing a little oomph. A hostile takeover? What was it the other day yesterday we were leaving dinner and Lucid kept missing the turn to get back to my house. And we were joking that I was being driven to like a rock quarry to be killed. And then he missed like 4 more turns and Orb Lady goes, "Are we actually killing Taffy? Like, is this going down?" And he was like, "I don't know, maybe." And my response was like, "Oh my God, I'm finally free." I was like, my last meal was gonna be smash burgers and salt and vinegar fries. Whatever, let me look at a photo of my wife and kids and then do what you're gonna do. Yeah, Big Gun, like, depending on which location you get, I suppose. I'm not an advocate for like the quality of Whataburger. My thing is that I grew up in Texas, and so I grew up with that. That is how hamburgers were supposed to taste when I was a kid. And especially since I've been living in Idaho and Virginia and can't get it, anytime I see a Whataburger, like I run towards it so that I can run towards it so that I can get that nostalgia fix. Yeah, Psychon, I really do feel like I'm at a place in my life where it's just like I wouldn't be happy about it, but it would be a relief. See, like, I could find myself in the mood for all 3 of those at some point in time or another. I like In-N-Out. I think their fries are hot garbage, but I think people who like their fries also think their fries are hot garbage. I think Culver's gets slept on a lot. I think Culver's is dynamite. I think it gets slept on a lot. I'm a pretty big Culver's advocate. This is technically better than what I've got. Yeah, Culver's is a delight. In-N-Out was the single most disappointing food experience I've ever had. Hubby is a California native. He raved about it for years. When we finally went and had it, it tasted like wet cardboard. I definitely, like, yeah, I don't know. I can find myself in the mood for Culver's. I can find myself in the mood for In-N-Out. I definitely am always in the mood for Whataburger. I think they're basically all fine, you know? A legendary Hattori's katana. It deflects bullets. How do you do that? By swinging at them? I like rallies and checkers. I haven't had rallies and checkers in years. Do I fiddle with this, chat, or do I stick with this ice build that's kind of been suiting us well? I've eaten Del Taco once, and I'm convinced it's a money laundering front because who would want to eat that willingly? I'd be interested in trying out the Smash Burger locations too. I wasn't impressed by the legendary effect when I had it, but I like the weapon in general. I was trying to learn that the other day. Jesus, K-Strew. You fucking manimal. Marathon Oil Company. Wow. I keep looking at it going like, damn, I wish I'd bought this 3 years ago, but it's the crash of 2020. And so, yeah, I wish I'd bought a lot of stocks during the pandemic. I could have made myself a small fortune. Thank you so much. That's $130 in recommendations this morning. That is a lot. Thank you. That thing didn't go off for weeks during the summer. Yeah, the pandemic crash on the stock market was only like a 4-week window, and then a V-shaped recovery started to happen. By the time, like, I was just getting into bed with my financial advisor. Galen. And by the time we had hammered out, like, all of our past finances and, like, figured out that, like, my taxes had been filed wrong for years and fixed all of that, a lot of the 2020 recovery had already happened. Buying SPY at 220 would have been amazing. It's at 451 a share now. So it's all of it's fine and well to like woulda, coulda, shoulda on that stuff, but like, yeah, I had an insight in my head where I was like, global catastrophe. Based on how I've observed people who are good with money, now's a good time to make a buck. And by the time I sort of like figured it out, it was all too late. I'm trying to figure out if I want to take away... Yeah, I do. Hold on. We're kind of committing to this build. I want Armadillo Pack and ammo and Frostbite. That's our build. You don't get to do that very often. Yeah, if time machines existed, the stock market would not. Shauna! Hi, friend. I'm trying to figure out if I want to reforge modifiers to get extra ammo out of it. Maybe not. I kind of want to re-roll this one so that it's knocks ammo loose. Generates a shield. That's not bad. We'll just do it like that, I guess. You'll get another chance when its recessions hit like every 20 years. The current commercial real estate bubble is going to be interesting when it pops. I wouldn't count on another global pandemic. All of us fucking poor is when we're concerned about dying than getting rich from the stock market. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever had any sort of disposable income. And so there was just a part of me that's like, yeah, I really am concerned about like loved ones dying. But I've also never been in a place where the world was in complete upheaval. That I was like, how do I profit off of this sadness and death? I know somebody I want to say that made a lot of money because they had stock. They bought stock in a company that made they bought a bunch of stock in a company that made the masks. Like, I can't remember if it was 3M or someone like that, but they bought a lot of stock in a company. They bought a lot of stock in a company that made masks. That prick cost me health. Moderna was like $3 a share pre-COVID, and it ran up to like $300. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that if something like that, like obviously that's not going to happen. I'm doing it. Obviously, a global pandemic's not going to happen again. Knock on wood. Is likely not going to happen again. But those were the kinds of things that, like, I didn't have all the infrastructure in place. I didn't have all the infrastructure in place. No, it'll happen again. I don't know that it'll happen in my lifetime. Maybe it will. I'm not saying that I want it to, but like... It probably won't happen again while I'm old enough to do anything about it. Or, sorry, like young enough to profit off of it and enjoy the money. From a purely fucking gnarly money-making capitalism, death and pain as profit standpoint. Sorry, just some of my enemies are invisible. The GameStop one hurts my feelings, but I'll tell you why. It's for a very different reason. It's that I tried to get retirement.gg built in like 2019. I had the idea in 2018. I tried to get the website built in 2019. Nate had zero bandwidth to help me with that even then. And so Noah was like my point of contact for getting that kind of thing done. And his response was, that's too complicated, it's never gonna happen. The thing that's funny about all that is that the thing that's funny about that is that the reason that burns me so bad is that one of my first activations, my first sponsorship deals of all time, was GameStop. And we had the huge back and forth in chat of like, if you got an opinion about GameStop, just swallow it. They're giving me $750. They're giving me $1,500 worth of gear to give out to you guys. Like, let's just, like, if you hate GameStop, I get it, but just fucking eat it. Don't say anything. For the build that we have, I actually think Mushroom Boy's better. Like, don't say anything. Let's take their money and take their product and leave. And then, surprise, surprise, they handled the activation very poorly. They handled the activation very poorly, and it fostered a lot of animosity between me and GameStop. So if I had come up with this retirement website at the time that I wanted to have this retirement website, a couple of companies who did well during the meme breakouts did well during the meme breakouts, including GameStop and including like for a while like Airbnb and stuff like that, would have been the type of thing that people would have bought me just to be like, hey buddy, how's GameStop going? Am I ever gonna get my controller that they promised me? And I'm like, I don't know, man, it's been 3 years. And they'd be like, hey, how about you have some GameStop stock? I know how much you love them. But Noah told me it was too complicated and that no one would build it for me, so there was really no sense in looking. But I stuck with it, and then the meme economy and all the GameStop stuff happened, and I got him into a call, and I was just like, what kind of stock do you think chat would have bought me? And he was like, GameStop. And I was like, do we see why I wish I had this already? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, will we restoke the coals of looking into getting this built for me? Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, I try every single time that I bring up COVID to say, we're not out of the pandemic, it's still out there, it's still killing people. Functionally, it's shorthand for saying when we were still in the time that it mattered to people on a grand scale, when it was still in the public conversation. That's all. Like, I try to preface that every single time where I'm just like, usually I hit that, and it's like every time that I don't, I have to stop and be like, the CDC still says, the World Health Organization still says, yes, there are still people dying, yes, it's still going around, yes, there are new variants. But back when everyone was taking it seriously, but saying back when the pandemic was going on is really just shorthand for me saying back during the time that we were all huddled at our houses, locked in place, terrified to even have food delivered to the home or to go get gasoline because we didn't even know how it was being transmitted back during those days. But that's longer than saying back during the heart of the pandemic. Right, like, I've reached the point where I hesitate to talk about the pandemic the same way that I hesitate to talk about, like, stand-up comedians. You know, because I'm just like, back during the pandemic, and then I have to stop and go, the pandemic's still going on, people are still being hurt, people are still getting sick, immunocompromised people are still immunocompromised, people are obviously still being shit on and disregarded and left behind. Healthcare professionals are still being disregarded and marginalized and spit on for their role in taking care of it. Assume that when I say back during the pandemic that I accept and endorse the 900 footnotes that come with that I do not believe the pandemic to be over, that I do not believe, that the way that it's been handled was good, that I don't believe that the general ennui towards it is the right call. Reality being what it is, back during the pocket of time, when I say during the heart of the pandemic, I mean back during the pocket of time where it felt like at least 51% of people cared and were taking it seriously. That during that window when it actually seemed like an issue that potentially would get addressed in some way. Right, like it's a shitty reality, but Alpha says it right. It's not a pandemic anymore, it's endemic. I'm talking about far enough back where it was actually potentially preventable in some degree. Now it's endemic, it's just here forever. But please don't misread my shorthand as me being like, wow, thank goodness we're done with that. I endorse the 900 footnotes. I believe the 900 footnotes. I am not trying to marginalize, disregard, or otherwise ignore the 900 footnotes. It's just that acknowledging all the COVID footnotes is the only thing that might take longer than me ordering lunch, or a taffy tangent back to the good old days of when he had hair in an 8-pack. Like, he goes, Taffy talking about when he was hot, how long it takes to order lunch from a place I've never ordered lunch from before, me acknowledging all the footnotes about how COVID's not really gone. and never will be. So, it's more of me pointing back to a window of time than to try to marginalize or minimize the event. I want the projectile damage down. Yeah, 5% gameplay per hour quota. And then me trying not to be fussy about the fact that I normally hit all those talking points, but today I didn't, and I was like, oh, you fool. You gotta hit those talking points. Oh, we knocked him. Oh, Mushroom Lad knocked him into the pit of despair. Why is it blue? Is it always blue? Yes, it's always blue. Weird. Right. 1 second, this one's gonna get a little chunky. There we go. That guy scares the shit out of me. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like that's I'm with you, Rini. Like not just you in particular. Like all the people who are affected by the footnotes, who want the footnotes acknowledged. I'm with you. I'm on your team. For the people who are lurking, who are just like, does he think we're out of it? There are 900 footnotes, and I leave that to the mods and to the people who are just like, I think it's important to mention the footnotes. I'm like, do it. Mention the footnotes. Full disclosure, I'm on board with the footnotes. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Yeah, thank God it's finally over. Confirmed by renowned Twitch immunologist and virologist and epidemiologist. I was in school a long time. The Ryan McLaffey Taffy Caps. Right, I'm with you. I'm just heavily pessimistic about humanity and I don't believe in our collective ability to solve problems. Oh God, woo, it's like you peeled back the curtain on my soul. Nobody has ever gotten me the way you just got me right there. It's not that I think it's over. I've just given up on our collective ability to solve our own problems. Back when back when global warming was a big thing does not mean we've solved global warming. I've just given up pretending that we're ever gonna fix it. Taffy, can I listen, Chad? I'd also like I'm a world famous economic broadcaster, socioeconomic broadcaster, and I would like to go ahead and congratulate everybody who's viewing me here today on your impending fortunes. You will all be multimillionaires soon, and all of my prognostications always come true. There we go. I'll use the finger, the predictive finger, the fickle finger of fate. We just had 3 cases of COVID in our office. A mask order got put out. The only people who wear it are some of the Americans and one guy who last month just had a baby. He's one of 2 folks there that I really respect, and the one of the others was the cases, and she got it from her daughter. You may not be a trained epidemiologist, but all your theater training means you can convincingly pretend to be a trained epidemiologist. I'll at least take time to learn how to pronounce the words correctly. I'll do enough homework that I know you can't put a flashlight up your ass or stick bleach up your pee hole and have that cure it, which might make me the most qualified presidential candidate in the land. I am not a doctor. I just play one on TV. Anyhoozle, point being, it was the first time in my life where I'd ever had that kind of ruthless sort of like money grubbing, man, I'm probably gonna vote Republican sort of feeling in my heart. Not that I was gonna vote Republican.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
But the early days of the pandemic was the first time that I ever went, man, this is a period of great upheaval and insecurity and fear and change for the worse, but change nonetheless. Is it weird that I'm thinking to myself that there might be financial profit to be had? And it was all just because it was genuinely the first time that I'd ever had any extra money during any sort of like global event, noteworthy global event. But I was too stupid to read any of the tea leaves, so nothing came of it. I was right that that was a great time to invest, to try to make money in the long term, but I was too stupid to act on it, so I made no money off of it. Banana Choco Pie, tier 1, 27 months. Wow, time really flies. Hello, chat. Hope y'all are all having a good day. Banana Choco Pie, I feel like I haven't said your name in a hot minute. I hope you're doing really well, and I'm happy that you're here. My brain basically said, like, this is the time when really ruthless people make money. And I tried to figure out if I had any idea how that was done. And by the time I figured any of it out, it was just kind of too late. As someone with a PhD in vascular microbiology, I can confidently say, avoid COVID as much as you can. However much damage it causes up front, the long-term damage it will rot, even in young and healthy individuals, is going to come to bear. Yeah, I'm still terrified of it. I still would very much like to not catch COVID. I can't help but feel like COVID is like our version of cigarettes in the 50s, where a lot of people are gonna downplay. A lot of people are gonna downplay how potentially devastating it is. And then a lot of us are gonna have to look our kids in the eye. Oh, he brought the bad boys to me. A lot of us are gonna have to look our kids in the eyes and be like, I'm sorry, we're not gonna be around for much longer, Junior. We didn't think it was a big deal. I just like that you donated the mask you found in your shed. That's true. Yeah, I genuinely I forgot about that. God, I forgot about the time. Oh, he's gonna try to do the ground pound. I forgot about the time that Amber and I went digging around in our shed, just trying to clean things up, and came across a bunch of N95 masks back during the time where there was a global shortage, and I felt like I had won the lottery. I can't remember where we sent them. My initial inclination was to send them to my cousin, because my cousin's an ear, nose, and throat specialist in Mississippi. I think I sent them to Jamie. I have no idea what Jamie's politics are. I might be able to guess that he's a Christian in Mississippi. That said, as a doctor, I have great gratitude to him that he went around the family to people like my dad and was just like, he went around the family to people like my dad and said, I would like all of you to get the vaccine, please. And if any of them had any hesitation or blowback from the fucking Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity programming, he was like, we can get in a call one-on-one with no one else around, and you can ask me anything you want. And I, the child you have known since he, popped out of your sister, will answer you knowing good and goddamn well that I have no agenda and nothing on my heart except for that I want my family members to live. And then he hopped into calls with everybody in our family, including my dad. My mom doesn't know what the call was about, but Jamie got into a call with my dad when he was having doubts about being vaccinated. And he went upstairs, was gone for 5 minutes, and then came back down and said, all right, let's get it slated. Let's get it on the calendar. She still has no idea what Jamie said, but it took him 5 minutes to convince my dad that it was a good idea, and Dad went and got the shot so that Mom didn't have to put it in his eye while he was asleep, because she was not going to not see her grandchildren because Brad was being stubborn and watching too much Fox News. So I think, if I remember correctly, I gave Jamie those masks because he was not being able to even, like, they were resorting to like black market shit to try to get their hands on masks. So if I think, if I remember correctly, I sent them to him. Finally got caught up to me a couple weeks ago. First time, thankfully, it wasn't too bad outside the first day for me. Just lost taste and smell for a bit. It hit me like a fucking train after I got back from Amsterdam. It was bad. It wasn't like so bad that I thought I was gonna go to the hospital, but like, especially because of all the efforts that we put forward to try to not get sick in the early days of the pandemic. Especially because of the effort that we put into not getting sick early on. It was like only the second time that I had been sick in like 3.5 years. It was like the only time I had been sick in 3.5 years, and it hit me like a fucking truck. I had COVID last year. The constant fatigue stayed for more than 3 months. Someday I should get a checkup to be safe that I haven't caught any weird side effects. I feel like for the most part, I feel like I recovered, but I feel like I have some brain fog these days. But if I'm being real with you, I'm also just 43 years old. I didn't feel great going in. Black market masks for COVID? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, in the early days, health providers everybody started hoarding the moment that they heard that the masks were valuable. You had people who were buying out Amazon and buying out shops and trying to resell them on eBay. And then you had people who just wanted to have them around the house. And then you had healthcare professionals who flat out could not get a hold of the supplies they needed. And so, yeah, if I remember correctly, my cousin said that he was looking in some really odd places trying to get masks for his ear, nose, and throat practice. That was another wild thing to watch, going into patients' rooms who hadn't been intubated yet, and they're just sucking down the Fox News propaganda. The number of stories that I've heard nurses tell, Sarah, of just like fighting people literally up to their last moments as they were just gobbling down whatever Tucker Carlson had to say. It's fucking stunning to me. Scanning. I have lupus, so my immune system is shit, so I needed the vaccination so COVID did not beat my ass to death. That's like, obviously I was not the most at risk. But I mean, I'm asthmatic. I'm overweight. I'm in my 40s. Well, I'm glad I got my 60 before I engaged in this combat. But yeah, I'm in my 40s, I'm asthmatic, I'm overweight, I've had health issues in the past. So there was just a part of me that's like, damn, if I get this, it's not gonna be a fucking treat. The toilet paper being bought out, that was fucking crazy. I wanna love this so much. I wanna love this legendary so much, but I'm thinking about it in boss fights. Increases your movement speed after a critical hit doesn't do me a lot of good if I can't land 3 hits. We'd have to rebuild our mutations. We'd have to get rid of Mushroom Boy. I talked to nurses and said it was horrible seeing the look on their faces when people realized they were dying, having just spent the last week talking about how it's a hoax. Yeah, there were, I do remember hearing a lot of accounts of people asking for the vaccine when it was way too late. That again, much like the people getting milked by Joel Osteen. They may be good people, they may be bad people, they may be shades of gray, but I can't imagine that's not heartbreaking. Not to drag it back to the game, but I do need insight from anybody who's got thoughts. The twin daggers will hit for 10,000 if I can get a third hit. But it would mean rebuilding our run almost from the ground up. I think that DPS is without the crits. I mean, the crits will be 10,000. The individual hits will be 6,800, I think. I'm going for it. And we'll rebuild our mutations. I think it'll be fine. What we need now is a hardy secondary. If we could get an ice bow or that ice blast, that wouldn't be bad. That would be something else. Or Medusa's head. That would be banana balls. That's a lot of damage. Those guys are damage spongy, and we eliminated them. Mushroom boy, what is the secret of your power? I don't want to knock enemies or bombs back. Now, for now. Yeah, rebuild's doable. I mean, we're pretty deep into the game, but we could do it. We could pull it off. I'll have to think about all this stuff. The sickles wouldn't be bad. If we're shopping to get rid of Mushroom Boy, the sickles wouldn't be a bad choice. I still feel like the ice grenade sticks around even if we get rid of the ice DPS. I'm gonna milk the floor for as much... I'm gonna milk the floor for as much coin as I can lay my hands on. Nope. I do that every time. I wish I'd stop. That would be cool. It is the wrong color. Front row. Nope. That's good. I was just thinking I could use some health. I didn't like that. That was entirely more work than I wanted it to be. Don't mind me. You're doing God's work, Mushroom Lad. Fuck his world up. Good stuff. Show no mercy, take no prisoners. You ever run for your life before? Grimoire. Oh. Oh. How do you do? I kind of want to see if I can just get a win. Well, now I don't know that I necessarily need to worry about respecking. Was my food delivered? Yo, it was delivered by a dude named Ryan. Good shit, Ryan. I knew I liked him. What a fucking lad that guy is. I wish Dead Cells let you choose your genitals like Baldur's Gate 3, but I guess it's cool still. Yeah, how is Baldur's Gate 3 going for people who are indulging in that? Spitting in each other's mouth is just how people said hello in the before times. That is just a shitload of damage. I don't know, you'll notice I'm here instead. Oh no. That's unfortunate. Agia, what's going on? Here, preferably not instead. I mean, yeah, I got what you were saying, but yeah. Third Shinigabi's enjoying it? Hell yeah. I don't want to say I'll never get to play that game, but like, I'll never get to play that game. If I ever end up playing that game, it'll either be in a year and a half when we fund it and it goes on the list, or it'll be in 3 years when Twitch folds as a platform and I just have time to play video games for myself again. I don't know, that's just the first time Pyrotechnics ever dropped. I think I'm just gonna try this. I think I'm gonna take off. Armadillo Pack goes back on. I think we take off Frostbite because we only have one thing doing frost damage now. And I think I'm gonna take off ammo because we're not wholly reliant on that now. I'm wondering, do I do Soldier's Resistance plus what doesn't kill me? Do I do counterattack plus what doesn't kill me? What all is down here? I could go no mercy. And we could just cut down how much we have to kill this boss by 7%. All right, we'll give it a shot, APOC. Oh, Big Gun. I've been playing Slay the Spire too. Who are you working on? I don't remember the name. I just remember I've been working on Ascensions for the robot character. Yeah, you and me both then. I was playing that just last night. Fucking get headbutted, dummy. Scared me. Sorry. With you in a second. Mushroom Lads had quite enough of your shit. I like that this guy just walked down the hallway, not a care in the world. Then turned around and saw all of his bloodies have been turned into offal and viscera. Did any of the inflatables make the cut? I'll be honest with you, yesterday on 4 hours of sleep, I went and did dinner with Orb Lady and Lucid Fox and came home and basically fell asleep on the couch. Fuck. Can't believe I let that dude hit me. I had options and I didn't use them the way a shithead does, for example. No, come on. I was just trying to throw the... Oh my god. Quite literally 1 HP. I dislike that I can't just like... I can't just throw the grenade. Like, my guy has to not be in an attack. He has to be in the right posture. You know what I mean? Like, there's no... Like, I have to take a second and set myself. I have to take a second and set myself before I can get the grenade out. Otherwise, what I'll get is... I'll get that noise, but I'll get it when the grenade's available because the game does not like it when you try to spam it out before the character animation for throwing the grenade out is ready. Like, you can't be mid-attack and cancel it by throwing the grenade. You can't be in the process of climbing. Oh yeah, Bougie, I was just being an asshole. I woke up this morning and it took me about 10 minutes to figure out what day of the week it was. So I thought I'd share that anxiety with other people. It worked. As much as I hate it, that it worked. I'm glad that it did. Mission accomplished. I'm making the people who depend on me to be a reliable, friendly, and truthful source of entertainment throughout the day. Sweat their balls off. I wonder if ice armor would be good for a boss fight. I'm gonna do that over Mushroom Boy. I think that makes sense. Especially if I'm gonna be getting in there and trying to mix it up with my sword. I fucking fuck you. There we go. What am I shooting at? What are you shooting at? Is this a joke to you? Shoot down. I am at a loss. Boy, this game fucking hated that one ninja. What is this aim? Can't blame you for going chaos today, Taffy. It feels like a Thursday. I woke up this morning and I went, oh man, it's Friday. And then I went, oh no, it's Thursday. And then I thought, wait, it might be Wednesday. And then my brain said, no, we had an entire conversation with chat about Wednesday being hump day this week. And then my brain went, oh, so it is Thursday. And I got really sad. And then I sat there for a second and went, no, fuck this. It's Friday. It has to be Friday. And at that point I gave up and I looked it up. And it was in fact Friday. So I figured I would go ahead and I figured I would go ahead and share that wash of dread and anxiety with the rest of you. Kudos on trolling chat, you jerk. I hoped you would find it funny. I was terrified that I would actually upset somebody today, or that I would be an asshole who would genuinely fuck up some sort of schedule or program that you had. Man, barricade might be good. No, ice is better. Although barricade might be good on the other trigger, we get rid of the grenade and we put the poison damage on there. Sarah, thank you for the 500 bits. Maybe if we did barricade and put poison on these things, it would be good. You almost gave me an anxiety-induced heart attack. Pinnacle Chips, welcome back. Today, Thursday, August 4th, Taffy goes insane. Yeah, it was not great. Today, the splinteenth of August. Taffy lost his mind. Your Friday is my Monday, so it's a lose-lose. It's lose-lose either way for Ollie. What's up, Ollie Queen? Please. It's my hat, isn't it? My hat's not letting me get up. Oh, I should have had that armor on when I got up there. Oh my god, why am I hitting all the wrong buttons? Sorry. I didn't mean to frighten us. I genuinely could not remember which button dodge rolled. I wish that was a joke. For a split second, I just completely forgot what button made me avoid damage. I'm not hungry anymore, but it isn't stopping me from wanting to get more of that food. I got to admit, I'm willing to oh no. I'm willing to love again if Peter Chang's is willing to show me consistency. Yeah, my man chunked me for 25% each time he hit me, which is a bummer. Oh, I fucked up. Ugh, I hate this, but whatever. If I hated it so much, I'd play better. I tried to stop that guy by shooting him with an arrow and it caught the ninja instead. I'll really hate this though if I find food for sale or hidden in a crawl space. That'll bum me out. Cause I'm sure as shit not gonna be able to buy a flask recharge today. Not bad. If I make a little plan and execute on my way through the levels, like if I go into a fight with a game plan and then actually pull it off, we're handing them devastating results. I do love you, Tesla Coil, but I don't think this is your time to shine. Been lurking since before the stream. Quiet day at work, quiet day for me in chat. No worries. You enjoy stream however you want to fucking enjoy stream, my dude. Fucked it up. Ah, fuck, I thought he was me. Grumble. Grumble, grumble. I have the tools. I just don't have the brain. Let's see if I can maybe come up with some health. I do genuinely on occasion just, I do on occasion genuinely just, identify the wrong character on the screen. I'm looking for secret spaces. Want to use a fucking liar. Is it you, bud? Are you my liar? Shit, if this is a good ice grenade. Listen, I would love to pick up the ice grenade and throw the ice stuff back on. But this powerful grenade hits for 20,000 a pop. If anything, I may just want to re-roll. That is a lot. If anything, I may just want to re-roll the stats on it, or the modifiers on it. But otherwise, that hits for a chunk. I'm not going to have a lot of healing. It's 175% damage to a frozen target, too. Let's try it. I'm trying to stay up in his fucking business. I do like not ever letting her get the chance to dash. Like that was far from a clean fight. But it was also never out of our control. Which sometimes when I'm doing melee battles, I feel out of control because I'm fighting at a distance but I can't hit them. So I'm being forced to dodge everything they throw at me. One of our new Dead Cells viewers the other day, in a constructive, non-backseaty way, recommended on melee fights against the Timekeeper to just get right up in her fucking face. And it clearly seems to have paid off there. Boy, I'm kind of feeling these Scarecrow sickles. Because that was, I threw a grenade out in that fight, but she was so goddamn fast that the grenade's explosion radius missed her entirely. Now these Scarecrow sickles, I can set those suckers going, and they'll just follow me around, and if I get bonus damage out of them, like, so be it. And it's a shorter countdown timer on it, so I may actually see more damage out of the sickles than I would out of the grenade. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. We were saying this just the other day, Bunbarian, that the Dead Cells community has been very polite. Like, super respectful. It's a lot of commiseration, because the game kind of equally kicks the shit out of everybody. I did do drops earlier. I did drops in the early morning part of the stream. I had to. My eyes were killing me when I sat down today. Yeah, Dagger Hilt. It was it's too much to be too far away from her. Unless you're prison pummeling the shit out of her with ranged weapons. I'm just looking at it. I'm not going to use it, but I almost went into Dracula's castle. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but damn, lunch was good. I'm pleasantly surprised. We don't have anything we want to re-roll, do we? Damage on Frozen's excellent for us. Volley of arrows. Stunned, electrified, flammable oil. That's just more damage. I'll probably just take the more damage and roll with it. I think I'm happy with our mutations. To be completely fair, I haven't dodged worth of shit today. Is it gonna try to send me to the distillery? Yeah, kiss my ass. Not today, Satan. I mean, The first time that happens, it's gonna be almost a 6-second stun. Remind me that I need to decide whether or not I want to trade out the sickles for stun grenades. You do get diminishing effects on it, though. You do get diminishing effects on it. Oh, Jesus, on boss fights. Eventually, bosses are no longer fucking bothered by it at all. Oh, Bumbarian, I don't give a shit. Not for people who are like actual members of the community. It's one thing to be a member of the community and talk about the fact that you stream here. It's another thing to be someone whose name I don't fucking know. It's another thing to be someone whose name I don't fucking know. Who shows up and is like, oh, what's going on here? This is a pretty sweet stream. Reminds me of the stream I left back home. In that situation, yeah, we're gonna have fucking problems.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
Nicodemus Prime Gaming sub for 46 months. It's taken years, but I finally hit 46. Nicodemus, what's going on, man? Appreciate you being here. Ah, Bunbarian, it genuinely is my pleasure. Genuinely my pleasure. Nicodemus, again, thank you for the resub. Hey! Damn. Take no fucking prisoners. Good grief. Alright, good. I'm gonna kill this guy this way. I have genuinely thought about it, Sarah, but I have not done it. I was actually thinking about looking at a professional organizer for my outdoor spaces. I was actually looking at maybe, like, you know, back when I had a little more disposable income floating around. I was toying with the idea of looking up a professional organizer for my outdoor spaces. For like my sheds and whatnot. Yeah, back when we were throwing around pergola money. It really wasn't even that long ago. It was a little while back when I was toying with the idea of what if I was toying around with the idea of what if folks wanted me to get a stand-up freezer because there were all sorts of like cool frozen food products that they wanted me to either try or have or test drive or they just knew it would make me happy. But the only way that a stand-up freezer is fitting in the shed outside is if somebody smarter than me comes and makes it more spatially efficient. I have a significant amount of health. I'm gonna wait until my shield is, or my armor's up again. I will say that when Amber and I initially were moving into the house, I absolutely came to chat and asked chat for answers on how I was supposed to sort stuff out in like we didn't know where things went in our refrigerator. So specifically, Rini was the first person that we went to that we were just like, someone please help us. That motherfucker poisoned me. Gross. What a weird little beating we just took there. That sucks. We were on a roll. We hadn't taken damage yet on this floor before that. Before that little Weisenheimer hit us with a dagger. Damn, we hit for 29,000 on frozen targets. That was so fun. I made a graphic to show where things went. It was the only insight that anyone offered us. We were so confused about what we were supposed to do there. My reflex timing on some of these little, the timing and reflexes that I'm showing on some of these fights is getting better. I really do think that running with the... I had to do a little dance around that guy for some reason. I really do think that having, if I don't go with the concussion grenade, the sides are gonna save me a lot of headache. Uh-oh. I don't want to waste this. Nah, wasted. I like this armor, man. Solid. Yeesh. Scary. Ah! the nice thing about bosses is that you never accidentally in the attack animation lunge through them. That is definitely not a problem we're gonna have. Hey! They're in there somewhere, trust me. Checking to see if any of these little invisible bastards are floating around. The hell's it? Oh, this is where they hid story and lore. Oh, real garbage items in here. I just like breaking stuff. Alright, I feel compelled, since we're at full health, to go ahead and look around a little. We could find more scrolls. Just making sure there's nothing invisible waiting for me around the bend. I got no keys. I can't imagine taking anything that's not our legendary right now. Secondary spot, though. Nah. Probably not. I'd be an asshole if I didn't look through them, though. That's how this run originally started, the fucking ice crossbow. Aching tits, chat. Look at that. A crit on the heavy crossbow will hit for 102,000 points of damage. I hate that that's like kind of enticing. Well, that said, depending on what I'm doing next to this dude, those shots take so much time to get out. You know what I mean? If it's not a crit on the heavy crossbow, I can do more damage with the twin daggers in a fraction of the time. Monkey brain like big numbers. Good grief. It's just hard to spit on that, you know? But I mean, hell's bells, the shovel hits for 35,000 right now. Yeah, I'm still trying to decide on whether or not I want to go flashbang. I kind of think the scythes are going to be a better choice. I think our decision here is to burn it down quickly. I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into what we're already doing. I'm just kind of looking. What if we buy that right before we leave? Chat, what if that's what replaces our... Every single hit is going to be for 92,000 points. On the Hand of the King. Every single hit will be for a little less than 100,000. I think we buy that right before we leave. And then that replaces our legendary, which at its best is hitting for 35,000 every third swing. I think considering the only thing we have left to fight is a boss, I kind of feel like it would be irresponsible not to take the weapon that flatly states, take me if you're fighting a boss. You know? Oh, you prick! Oh, I love War Spear. Oh. Te amo, mi amor. Oh, there's not enough room there, huh? Today I learned. Oh, Bumbarian, no worries. I love watching other people in chat get roped into a conversation. If nothing else, it means that I kind of get to take a little bit of a break. I don't feel obliged to read it only because I'm not added in it, so it doesn't really feel like it involves me. But if other people read it and they want to weigh in, then a whole conversation breaks out in chat. Oh, I almost left! A whole conversation breaks out in chat, and all I have to do is muse to myself, which is pretty nice. Takes a lot of the weight off of me.
Hey man, those are bits.
Biddies with the compensation. No, I love it. Thank you for the biddies, but yeah, no, it's any time the pressure's not on me to carry the entire 7 hours, I'm way down. It gives me a second to sort of like breathe. Oh, Bumbarian, seriously, the fucking pleasure is all mine. Pleasure is all mine. I was so close. Poisons the enemy. Crits are plus 30% damage. Cannot be interrupted. Shoot an arrow in front of you for another 5. I think we're good. Oh, I don't have the money to reset mutations anyway. We're good. Win, lose, or draw. We'll do Persona after this. Just trying to remember the buttons. Like, what order am I going to hit these buttons in? Okay. You're doing it, Peter! You're doing it! Night, night, light. The incorruptible Hand of the King outfit. Soon, my precious. Soon. Bro, were you aware that the game gets harder? Finish the game with boss stem cells active. 3 boss stem cells active. And now we can just get into boss cells 4 on Monday, really stick it in and break it off. That GiantKiller pickup, literally seconds before we walked into the boss fight, was a monster. Ugh. Yeah, time to get absolutely curb stomped on boss cells 4.